Hi there, Angelo Pinelli with the Cisco CX team here. In this video, we will configure high availability in the primary and secondary servers of the Cisco Evolved Programmable Network Manager, the EPNM. We will start with no HA configuration in the servers and go through the steps to configure it. Learn how to do the switchover between the servers and check if the redundancy is operating as expected. First, you'll need to make sure that the primary and secondary servers have been correctly installed and if they are up and running. This can be checked via the CLI by using the NCS status command. Notice that all processes are running except by FTP and TFTP, which are disabled by default. Also notice the information about the server's role and state. In this case, the role of the server is primary and the state of the high availability is not configured. Now, in the secondary server, the role is secondary and the state of high availability is the same, not configured. Besides the CLI, a useful tool is the health monitoring web page, which can be accessed by entering the IP address of the server, primary or secondary, followed by a column and the port number 8082. It will prompt you to enter the authentication key, which was defined during the installation. The HM page provides quick access to information about the state of primary and secondary servers. It indicates the role of the server on the upper right-hand corner and its current state. It's also possible to check the latest events sorted by time and to download the health monitoring logs. Now I'll access the health monitoring webpage of the secondary server, where you can see that the role is secondary. The configuration to establish high availability is done by going to Administration, High Availability, and then choosing the HA Configuration tab. In the secondary server field, you'll enter the IP address of the secondary server. The authentication key is the same as you set up during the installation of the secondary server. The Enable Virtual IP can be checked only if you chose the local model of operation, where both HA servers are located on the same subnet. If enabled, only one IP address will be used to access the EPNM, independently of which server is active at the moment. In this example, we will not check it. Optionally, enter an email address to get notified in case the servers switch over. The failover type can be manual or automatic. Configuring HA as automatic will bring up the secondary server right after the failure. If it is configured as manual, the operator will have to intervene to make the secondary server active. Once the high availability parameters are configured, you can check if all is okay before registering the servers. What the readiness check does is to run about 15 tests to ensure HA will be completed without any failures. Among other things, the procedure checks if CPU, memory resources, software versions are all the same in primary and secondary servers, if database configurations and processes are okay, if the health monitor processes are up, if the network connectivity is okay between the servers. It is not necessary that all tests pass for HA to be established. But if the tests pass, which was the case here, it is a good indication to proceed. Let's go ahead and register. The progress of the registering process is displayed in a dashboard. On the health monitoring page of the primary server, you can see the state as HA initializing. When the configuration is successfully complete, HA configuration mode displays the value primary active. On the health monitoring page of the primary server, you can confirm that the state of the primary is active. On the secondary server, the state has changed to secondary syncing, and now there's a button to trigger the failover from primary to secondary, in case you want to force the switchover. In our case, since the failover is set to automatic, the primary will be automatically switched to secondary in case of a failure. Now we will force the failover from primary to secondary by hitting the Force Failover button on the Health Monitor page of the secondary server. After a couple of minutes, once the failover is complete, and since you have not enabled the virtual IP address, you will have to access EPNM using the secondary server's IP address. On the HM page of the secondary server, you can see that now this is the active server. The same information is shown in the CLI when you run the ncsha status command. The primary server will now restart, and in the meantime, its state will be shown as primary failover on the HM page. Once the EPNM application starts in the primary, the state changes to primary syncing. Only at this point you can do the failback, which is the switch from secondary to primary on the secondary server's health monitoring page. I hope this content can be useful for you. Thank you.